How do you write a story? Good question. This is the story about a young... This is a story about Star Wars. Let's begin with the one, A New Hope. The first battle of... Alright, let's see how you tell this. Now you see a Star Destroyer. The story begins with our Destroyer trying else. Well, what now, cheese man? You're trying to interrupt my Star Wars story. This is the story. So basically what happens is the Empire just goes and takes the prisoners with them, the rebels, captures the princess because she has the plans, I guess, to the instead. Well, technically she just put it inside a droid, but unfortunately that droid had diabetes. I'm trying to finish my Star Wars story. So what happens next is the two droids landed on, basically they got captured by hoodluming plague doctors and all that. And the plague doctors sold them to, horror farm boy in the desert, despite the fact that you can't really farm in the desert unless you're Chinese. but let's just say that the farm boy, I'm trying to tell the Star Wars story, weed cat. Now shut up and listen. Now, basically farm boy finds Princess Leia trying to ask for Obi-Wan Kenobi because he's the key to everything, I guess. I don't fucking know. So basically, Luke Skywalker tries to find Obi-Wan Kenobi but gets ambushed by a bunch of the Taliban. Yeah, the Taliban. So after he got hit in the head by a fucking AK-47, Obi-Wan Kenobi came out of nowhere and started slashing him with the lightsaber and saving Luke Skywalker and taking it to his home. Obi-Wan tells him about his father. He's the best pilot in the galaxy. He also is a whiny little bitch as well. But you know what? He was the best friend. And so he was killed by Darth Vader. You killed your father. That's all you need to know. And basically, what happens next is they head. R2-D2 shows him the hologram of Princess Leia. Obi-Wan gives Luke Skywalker $200. What happens next is Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi head to the bar just to get some drinks and find a pilot that can take them to Alderaan. Fortunately, they found Indiana Jones and Chewbacca trying to get out of the planet as well because they were doing shady deals with Jabba the Hutt because he's a fat bastard. Shady deals they are. They basically get shot by stormtroopers and leave the planet of Tatooine. Next, Grand Moff Darth Vader threatens Princess Leia to give him the plans and tell him where the rebel base is. Unfortunately, as she didn't say anything, so what happens next is Darth Vader used the Death Star to destroy Alderaan, and millions died, including the women, but not just the men, but the women and the children too. The rest of the gang on the Millennium Falcon kind of just were chilling until they found the Death Star. They went inside the hangar. They killed a bunch of stormtroopers that went into their costumes. I'm sorry, cosplays, considering if you say costumes, you get canceled on Twitter. Anyways, basically what happens next is that Obi-Wan wants them to find Princess Leia and bring her back to their rebel base. And he said, you can do whatever the fuck you want with Princess Leia, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna die alone anyways. I'm this Luke. You gotta fuck Princess Leia. She's not your sister. Anyways, basically they killed every stormtrooper in the prison cell. They found Princess Leia. They were getting cornered by the Japanese. And I'm talking about the anime Japanese, not the damn Imperial Japanese, which would have been funnier if only if Imperial stormtroopers know how to aim. But anyways, so basically Princess Leia shoots the gang just went into a trash can. They get cornered. Luke is asking for help. C-3PO press the button and wow, they're free. Basically what happened is they split up. Luke Skywalker kissed the princess despite he's a fucking incest and didn't know better. Well, you can't blame him. You gotta blame George Lucas for doing that shit, but let's not talk about that. The point is, what happens next is Indiana Jones and Chewbacca find their ship, and they escape in the Millennium Falcon, but unfortunately Obi-Wan got killed by Darth Vader because apparently he was using old Jedi tactics and all that. Plus he just wants to be a Force ghost and spook Vader or something, I don't fucking know. So yeah, they left the Death Star. The Empire is tracking them, so what happens next is that when they went to the Rebel base, they started planning out a way to blow up the Death Star. The only way to blow up the Death Star is gotta activate it by using a torpedo and shooting into a hull. I don't understand this one. This script makes no sense, George. Come on, how is that gonna work? Oh no, he'll use the Force. He'll use the damn Force. Oh, okay, so you're gonna tell me Luke Skywalker can shoot like a fucking torpedo in a fucking hole so he can blow up the Death Star. Alright, we'll go with that. Makes no fucking logical sense, but we'll see what happens. What happens next is, the rebel ships head to the Death Star. Half of them got destroyed. Most of but Luke Skywalker is being chased by Darth Vader and their ships. And Obi-Wan tells them to use the Force, and basically what happens is Indiana Jones comes back and shoots Darth Vader's TIE fighter, and Luke Skywalker had a chance to destroy the Death Star with the Force, despite it wouldn't make a lot of fucking sense. But alright, unless he's a space wizard.
but she's related to Anakin Skywalker. Well, who gives a... Anyways, after that, the Death Star blew up with a bunch of people in it, and since this is the Disney canon, there was a bunch of women on board, and... There's a bunch of women on board, and... bunch of women on board, and literally what happens next is that yeah, there's a lot of female stormtroopers that died, including the ones that were actually given birth. So yeah, blame Lucas for writing that. Actually, no, blame Disney for writing that shit in the Disney canon of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. The ones that wanted females to be part of the Empire, despite it's literally impossible considering they're based off of Nazis. But fuck it, we'll just say that they are part of it if you like the Disney canon and like feminist shit. After that, they celebrate their victory by killing millions on board of the Death Star. And Chewbacca did not get a medal, so he killed the guy who gave everyone a fucking medal. And, yeah, that's the end of Star Wars. Yep, that is the end of Star Wars. Any questions for my fellow Blue members of the... that's in Episode 5, Eggman. That's when Luke and Leia had that scene. You only get that in Episode 5. Because they're fucking incest. George Lucas knows that. Imagine, imagine if this never happened. This shit would never happen if only George Lucas didn't retcon Episode 6, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's retcon Episode 6 and explain that Luke and Leia are siblings and shit. That's the best way to do it. What would you think? Would you rather have Luke and Leia siblings, or would you rather have them be lovers? Han Solo would have died anyways.